How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the Liberty Bowl. It is, as always, live stream Friday. So, of course, we are here hanging out, having a good time, smoking some herb, recapping the news for the week, and basically just kind of talking about the fall of America. All right. So, as always, is my host, Liberty Swine over here. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. Man, enjoying the weather and slaving, man. How about yourself?
All right, right, same, man. We're already starting to get some of that warm weather coming back here in Arizona again. So, our celebration is over. Yeah, the the couple of months that we live for is coming to an end real soon. But either way, it is what it is. It's we're getting into the thick of the year, and we're starting to have a whole lot of stuff go down as is predicted. It's a election season to put it lightly, right? So let's see. Starting off the week, we had a woke Air Force, they, them, whatever the fuck you want to call it, went ahead and self-immolated a a person by the name of Aaron Bushnell. All right, we'll be talking about that, I guess, for whatever reason, here in a little bit. We also got the immigrant murders. There's actually been a few this week. A few this week. We're gonna talk about all of those. We got Lake and Riley. We got just today, a woman's head was found in a park in New York, and it's suspected that MS-13 may have some sort of involvement in that. So we'll be talking about all that stuff. All right. Let's see, we got more stopgap spending. All right. So we've been talking about it for a while. This Mike Johnson, he's not all that he's was cracked up to be. Right. So we'll talk about what's going on with the government spending, and if there's any sort of end in sight, if there's any sort of possibility of things actually starting to slow down, and the so-called conservative party is ever going to actually become conservative. Right. We also got SCOTUS going ahead and dropping a bombshell on the left. The left has been melting down over the last couple of days over SCOTUS deciding to take up the case on the Trump immunity. Right. So basically, this is all the marbles, boys. This is everything. This is basically the deciding fact. Well, we'll get into it a bit here in a little bit, but yeah, it's this is a big thing going on right now in the fight for America. Right. We also got the FBI is going into a full-on election season mode, and they're starting to interfere as much as they can. Right. We have them basically going in and not only scooping up people that were at January 6th that were charged with misdemeanors, basically going and raiding their homes, but they are also arresting journalists now, bona fide journalists, not like just some random person that goes around with the camera and like no fuck, I mean like no bona fide journalists, right? That were at the Capitol on January 6th. So of course they're pulling out all the stops. It's all or nothing for them. Let's see. We're going to talk about just briefly. Going to talk about Canada, Justin Trudeau, and basically I guess they have some new law that they're trying to pass where basically they could police the speech of the world. I don't know. We'll talk about that a little bit here. Biden and Trump both happened to go down to the border this week, and as you could imagine, the results were as to be expected, with some I guess some surprises in there as well as to who we actually have even support for Donald Trump from in some unexpected places, right? And then yeah, that's about it, man. So we'll go ahead and I don't know what do you want to get started with today? Actually, before we get into much of all of that, I do want to announce link is in the description below. We do now have merchandise. All right, we got some merchandise, as you can see. We have some horror politician coffee mugs. Nobody in particular. Definitely not created in the likeness of anybody. Definitely just some random politicians. It's AI generated. Cool stuff. Some Halloween, some souvenir type stuff. Yeah, definitely some cool stuff. We're also going to be having some Liberty Swine merch in the shop as well. We're going to be having some t-shirts as well. But as for right now, we got coffee mugs down in there. So again, link is in the description below. I'd appreciate you guys if you at least stop by, check it out. If you guys want to pick something up, definitely do that as well. If you guys live locally, there is also a option for local pickup as well. So there's that as well. But yep, it's a link in the description to my eBay page. Yeah, I've never really sold anything online, so we'll see how all of it goes. But either way, some cool fucking cups. Definitely some cool ass designs. Definitely some conversation starters, some great gifts for, the MAGA conservative, or even just the politically aware person in your family, right? Or friends, or what the fuck ever, right? But anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the show, man. So I don't know, what do you want to get started with, man?
I mean, we can talk about good old Canadia, man.
Good old Canadia. All right, man. So again, I don't really know much about the loss. I know that it's Trudeau going on his whole thing. Basically Canada trying to be the woke police of the world, right? I don't know if you want to go ahead and break it down a little bit. Like I said, I don't really know much about it. All I know is it's fucking ridiculous, especially coming from people like Canada.
Yeah. It's basically, we police, our internet and own our media, and other, the rest of the world should too, right? We're going to police it for you, but it's signing on to the EU, WEF scheme to police speech, mis and disinformation, of course. And if anyone watched last week's episode, I actually, commented just on this that the crackdown was going to begin, and lo and behold, here it is on the old exosphere, rolling out misgendering again, people getting strikes or what have you, getting their shadow bans, or it's all coming back. And that's exactly why. I mean, and of course we know that not only is Trudeau a straight pudding cup, but he's completely in the back pocket of old Gigi. We've seen videos of him just get verbally manhandled by the guy, in private parties and whatnot. Films that you weren't supposed to see, basically. So and then you have old Klaus saying that we've infiltrated governments around the world, but none more so than old Canadia. And we got our
Right.
first comment there from Andrew Kang on YouTube saying, "I fucking hate Canadia." Me
Right.
too, buddy.
Oh, fucking Canada, man.
Yeah.
Goddamn maple syrup, syruping motherfuckers. I actually like maple syrup. I don't like. Again, some of the people even from Canada too. Like a lot of the truckers. The trucker protest and all that stuff. There's a lot of cool people in Canada. I've even had some viewers from the show that are from Canada. I mean, there's good people in Canada. Again, I don't hate any people of any certain nation. I hate nations' governments. Right. And Canada is right up there at the very top of the list, right there, right next to America.
Mm.
Right. But of course, that is to say, I hate our current government. I don't hate what our government is supposed to be. I love the idea of what America is supposed to be. I love, the principles that this nation was founded on. I love the Constitution. I love, basically everything that like I say, America was founded on, to be. I love, Western philosophy. I just hate what it has become within recent years. Right.
Yeah, and I don't hate Canada either, man. My favorite sport's hockey, so that's the real home. You know
Right.
what I mean? Lots of greats came from there, man. And of course Don Cherry. But other than that, I mean, some softies, right? I mean, they go along to get along, and they'll apologize for stepping on your foot, or vice versa. Rather, you know what I'm saying? They'll apologize to you for you stepping on theirs, man. But overall, I just hate the clown world coming out of there. It's a race in the West to see who can usurp the most power, and they got the Cuban Hobbit up there that's doing a fine job of becoming a dictator.
Right. Fidel Jr. and shit.
Yeah.
All right. So the one thing that I kind of wonder about, that has been basically a question that's been up in the air for pretty much since Elon Musk took over took over Twitter and turned it into X, is basically how that's going to be controlled around the world, right? Because we know, of course, the reason that he's able to have X the way that it is because at least we have some semi free speech here in America. We have free speech with some guardrails and stuff like that. But the one question is how would governments be able to police their nations, I guess, speech around the world, right? Because again, the free speech thing, that's a pretty uniquely American thing. There's basically everywhere else in the world you could get arrested for the things you say and the thoughts that you have, right? So
Basically, without a VPN, they've already done that there, man.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is the reason that this is crackdowns being rolled out on X. Even Elon can't withstand this storm. They're talking $54 million fines per post that they consider to be hate speech per day, and basically it's levied at all social media companies that are larger than 10% of the EU's population, and they can fine them up to 6% of their entire global fucking revenue. You know what I
man,
mean? So and they're doing this every day it's left up. So
shit,
that's how they're policing it. You know what I mean? It's basically like, dude, we will break you. You know what
yeah.
I mean?
That's fucking nuts. If only you could
Yeah.
get those same nations to pay 2% of their fucking GDP toward their own defenses, right? That'd be nice. But yeah, I mean, like you said, yeah, we knew that there's going to be some roadblocks, in the way, especially with things like election season come, in full swing. We're starting to see it cracking down, left and right, and speech. Uh, you know, as we saw in the 2020 election, the social media sphere, that's basically their honeypot. That's where that's everything to them. If they're able to control the narrative, if they're able to control what speech you're allowed to say online, if they're able to control your online personas and destroy your life for the thoughts and ideas and the feelings that you hurt, then basically they're able to control everything, right? So that's what they got going on there, man.
See this comment, man? It says,
Yeah,
who is they and how did they get control? They got control through years of indoctrination through the Frankfurt School of Education to convince generations to accept their own enslavement as freedom, basically. You know what I'm saying? That's who they are. They're the ones that Kevin McCarthy or the whole McCarthy era was about, rather. That the whole Soviets absorbing into the government, and of course we know that we absorbed the Nazis, Operation Paperclip and whatnot. Basically, NASA's still based off Nazi ideas. I mean, that's who they. It's a
right.
combination of lizards, man.
Yep. Yeah, fucking multinational corporations, stuff like that. The big money people with Soros money, basically the people that have gotten to the point where they are so rich that they do not care about gaining more wealth. What they care about is gaining more power, right? I mean, it's if you look back on any sort of history of control, that's basically what people in control always want, is just more power to exert more and more control, right? And as we see with government isn't necessarily the best and brightest of our country, right? It's basically just the people that could, well, how's it saying, thinking a politician's just somebody that couldn't make it in business or some shit like that. I don't know, something like that, but basically, politicians, they're literal lizards. They're puppets. Basically they get in there to basically do what they're told. That's what they're good at. They're supposed to be doing what they're told by their constituents, but what they do is they do what they're told by their donors, right? That's why 99% of the stuff that gets passed in Congress doesn't benefit you in any way, and it's nothing that you would necessarily want your congressman going down there to vote on and fight for, right? It's all to benefit the donor class. We basically live in an oligarchy here, and that's who my definition of who they is.
Yeah, I mean they is Klaus Schwab. You know what I'm saying? They is the
Schwab,
WEF, the entire Davos gang. You know what I mean? The lizard overlords running the EU. You know what I
right?
mean?
The shady Wall Street people.
Yeah. And not that we don't have our own set of reptiles. I mean, of course.
Right. Yeah, we definitely got some reptiles.
Yeah. Andrew Kang says politicians are literal lizards, man. That's just
Yeah.
just a boot.
Yep. Yep. You bottom feeders, man. But so speaking of the corruptness of the United States government, we got a video of basically the just that, right? So we have some January 6th defendants. Let me find the video real quick. And share the screen. So it's basically a family, right, of people that I guess the father or whatever was present during January 6th, and they decided to go ahead, and now, of course, again, election season, they decided to basically go ahead and raid their home in order to arrest him again on misdemeanor charges. And the person that you'll see in the video here, there's his wife and kid out on the front porch again. This for misdemeanor charges, right? So the wife ended up having a miscarriage, and again, for misdemeanor charges. All right, absolute ridiculous clown world shit. But let's go ahead and check this out real quick.
I'll tell you when you bring it in. Yep. You just have heard nobody in. Where is it? On the left foot. Left foot. Okay. It's okay, buddy. It's okay, buddy. It's okay, buddy. He had surgery because he had cyst. He just went to the baby on Friday. Okay.
Essentially, what you saw is
all right. So yeah, again, that his wife there, she ended up having a miscarriage, and quite honestly, there's two miscarriages there. There's also a miscarriage of justice, right? That's a complete mockery of what law and order is supposed to be. That's a complete destruction of basically our institutions. And again, organizations like the FBI and the CIA and all that type of stuff, as I say, things, the worst things are started with the best intentions, right? Well, honestly, those types of organizations, in theory, really do serve a great purpose. We do actually need people on the inside that are actually monitoring foreign nations, basically, prevent terrorist plots to basically destroy our nation, to basically kill our own citizens, to prevent things like the Hamas attacks of October 7th happening here in America. We actually need these types of organizations, but the fact that partisan politics has basically divided this nation and basically corrupted our justice system so far to the point that these people can't even actually do what they are intended to do. They've become partisan dogs of the government. They basically, Joe Biden says sick them, and they go sick them. That's what they do. That's what they do nowadays. And they're not protecting our people. As we see, we have millions and millions of people that we don't even know pouring over our border every single day. And they're not only watching it, they are facilitating it. And they're giving these people money. They're basically encouraging these people to come here and break our laws. And you could call it xenophobic, you could call it whatever you want, but as we're going to be talking about here in a few minutes, Donald Trump was absolutely correct. These people they're not singing their best and brightest, right? These people are rapists. These people are murderers. These people are criminals. And again, it's all just, it's a complete destruction. It's a complete, mishandling of our justice system that we have going on right now. And that's the worst part of it. Again, I don't want to be fucking completely, dismantle the fucking system, abolish the FBI, abolish every fucking thing, it's just everything at this point has been so corrupted. Again, everything that started with the best intentions to, protect our country, to, provide prosperity for everybody and all this and that, it's been corrupted and it's been completely destroyed. It's been completely, perverted beyond repair, I believe, at this point. And so now basically it's pushed us to the point where the only solution really is fuck it. There is no redeeming any of it. Tear it all fucking down, start over again, and it's really fucked up that that's what it's come to here in America. But that is the fact of reality.
Yep, absolute fucking destruction of justice, man, and somebody should fucking, face repercussions for the miscarriage. Real shit, man. But nothing's gonna happen because again, justice is fucking destroyed, right? And man, 9 times out of 10, someone has a family, and the FBI, who has the ability to listen to every one of your phone calls, read all your texts, wants to talk to you. That family man's probably going to go in and deal with any kind of thing that's going to happen. Right? It's going to sit down, talk. It's got too much to lose. but instead they have to play this game of intimidation, and we have, a monopoly on violence. And the FBI from its inception is a piece of shit. It wasn't there to protect us. It was formed by an executive order to fight the mafia during Prohibition, which was a black market that the government created by trying to control the
Right.
choices of grown ass people. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I think it should be completely fucking abolished. Yeah, there might be some good agents there. You separate them to the fucking winds, put them in other fucking places where they may actually be able to do some good, man.
Yeah.
And the CIA is completely fucking corrupt as well. John Brennan was in on the whole, Russiagate bullshit, PP tapes, all that fucking bullshit that's been debunked repeatedly, but that leftists continue to run with to scream, Donald Trump's criminals. You know what I mean? And it's laughable to even think that those edifices are even functionable at this point. You know what I mean? I believe I'm the opposite. Tear them bitches down and the ATF. They can't
All right.
even tell you with a straight face what the fucking assault weapon is. You know what
So
I mean? The ATF.
right. Yeah, like I said, I really wish it didn't have to be that way. I really wish we could have institutions that actually function the way that they're supposed to,
Yeah. And we did at one point, you'd think, but it very well could just be the lack of up to the minute information like we're currently using. Right?
So I think we're we're heading into a new age, inevitably, especially with the information highway. You know, that's like I said, we get up to the minute, news and information. Yeah,
And that's why it's a race across the West to control the inner zones and AI to prevent that fucking, passive information.
Yep.
That's,
Yep. I mean, I don't know. Part of me likes to think that it could only get so dystopian. Part of me likes to think that I don't think humanity would settle for 1984. I think we'd have a complete social collapse. Complete. I think somebody would just be willing to say fuck it and just push the giant red button for the entire world at that point.
I think you're literally in it. Like, I mean, how they watched you, they programmed you, all that they do now. You know what I'm saying? They convince you of, falsities that are obvious. Well, not you, but you know what I'm saying. People in general. You see Joe Biden's let in 10 million by the CBP's numbers, and then they'll stand on national television and tell you the border's secure. It's been secure the whole time.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you literally have people that run with that shit that try to attack you on the inner zones. Like, you're lying. The border's secure. It's like, dude.
And at the same time,
you know what I mean?
Isn't it just fucked up that okay, how many people has Joe Biden let in? Oh, well, it depends on who you ask. It's anywhere from I don't know, like about 7 million to about 12 million, somewhere within that ballpark range. Like, it's not even a ballpark range. That's fucking millions and millions and millions of fucking differences in range. Like, that's not even close to each other.
You get it. It's like the whole chocolate ration being upped from fucking 3.2 to 2.5. It's double plus good. And the whole thing, neighbors turning on each other as far as like you see in COVID, motherfuckers will tell on you with a quickness. This is not wearing a mask is, it's that bad, and people willing to scrap over fucking toilet paper. And, and then you see a whole lot of us just lived our lives. That's the proletariat in the 1984 books. And I mean, it's you're living it.
All right. But what I meant by it is I meant like outright, like to the point where we're like, literally standing in chow lines and stuff like that. And, if I can actually staring at screens, literally where by law, like that.
Yeah.
Like,
they
I mean,
didn't even
like
have
that
to do it
extent,
by law. The 2 minute of hate is every day across the inner zones of Orange Man's Badzes.
Right. Right. Yep. But that's what I mean. Ultimately, if it came to a breaking point, the people that are on the side of Orange Man are gonna win. Like if it came down to throwing blows, a bunch of LGBTQ activists and this and that fucking lefty type shit, they're not going to actually be able to maintain control. Just especially with the atmosphere that we have in America. Just we we can outgun them. We can outgun them, and then at the same time, we could just, they're literally feminized men. Like that's who
That's
their
why they're
fighting force
signing
is,
up the fucking illegals for citizenships,
right? That's
making them
I
police.
That's why still, man, still betting on Roseanne, man. I still think that this. I don't think we're even gonna make it that far. I think it's gonna. I think fucking some sort of shit might hit the fan. Not the shit, but I think some sort of shit might hit the fan. Within this next couple of years. Maybe even within this next year or so. Before this before January. But it like I say, it all just depends, on how things go. But obviously, what they're trying to do, as we've talked about multiple times on the show before, is they're trying to bring in immigrants for one to replace their voter base that they've basically alienated now by replacing them with illegal migrants. It's kind of funny they did the replacement theory on themselves as well, right? So they got that, and then they also got them to come in and basically fight. I like to think that it's less nefarious as they're bringing them in to quash the MAGA rebellion and stuff like that. I do honestly like to think of it as basically just our government's corrupt, but they care about you just slightly. In the same way that we have a world police by proxy. Basically we fund Ukraine so they could fight Russia because we don't want to send our people to go fight Russia, but we still want to fight Russia. We'll just provoke Russia to attack Ukraine, and then we'll just fund the fuck out of Ukraine. That's basically the way that we do it now. And so basically we're getting to the point where we can't avoid boots on the ground against a major military power. So I think what they're trying to do is either I think that the white pilled way of looking at what they're trying to do is basically bring in a new fighting force to basically send them in as cannon fodder. Basically do the old the Russia approach, just fucking overwhelm them with numbers.
I think that they the replacement theory, and they want someone to fund their fucking retirements, clean their shitters for cheap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And as far as the military thing, obviously they have a need. They're not meeting fucking recruitment levels. They're literally eliminating jobs and departments, and not for people losing their jobs. These are just positions they can't fill, so they're just eliminating them. And
Right.
in order to make themselves look a little bit better, as far as, well, we're streamlining, we're just cutting the fat. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, they don't have it. So that's a reason to, without outright saying, hey, we're going to give these people amnesty or citizenship or what have you, they're going to use this as the reasoning and the excuse. And then they can say, we saved Social Securities. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. We brought us in a new workforce, man. Pick and scoop the berries and shit.
Yeah. And they statistically, people from outside of the Western countries, it's they tend to have more babies, man, like 3 to 1. So
Right.
and that's the perfect replacement. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, they're trying to, like I say, they're trying to get us on the fast track to basically being a human homogenous blob, rather than having a sense. That's why they're basically they're anti-nation. They're basically globalist communism. They just want everybody to basically be the same, and have the elites rule over everything. And that's like I say, it's really just two different kind of ways of looking at it. Because if you really wanted to get down into the nitty gritty, I mean, technically a fucking rule by an overwhelming fucking rule of a class of people on a global scale, you'd get a lot done. I mean, you'd be able to build fucking pyramids and all that shit if you just enslave the population on a technical sense, but as per how the population would feel about it, I doubt they'd be very, very happy. But in a technical sense,
I'm personally looking at it different these days. Like, I was looking at it purely as the invasion aspect, but I think it's more fucking just economics. And again, you can't hold on to power if everything's fucking failing. And Social Security, there's people out here that are willing to murder over. And that's one of the things that's going to be insolvent. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of these politicians truly believe in their mind, like if we just let these people in, they'll just come in and take jobs, and you know what I mean? Everything will be peachy. But in reality, we see the crime skyrocketing, and videos of fucking police getting beat down in broad daylight and whatnot. And so it's not working out like they thought it was going to. But of course, you never look to your politicians to backtrack or apologize for previous mistakes. They're always going to fucking double down. And it's also election season, so why try to get anything done when you
Right.
can just put on a show and then keep the
This is
fucking
the
gravy train going?
this is the season of blaming everything on your opponent. Right? You
Yeah.
don't fix nothing right now. You just blame everything on your opponent. Why would you want to do that? That's the whole reason that we're holding up the border bill. Right? If you ask Democrats, that's the whole reason that we don't want to pass this bipartisan border funding bill, because we just want to make the Democrats look bad. Like,
Yeah.
absolute
It's,
fucking ridiculous.
Donald Trump ordered them. They all
Right.
bow down.
Right. Now, it
Mhm.
definitely doesn't have anything to do with any of the extra provisions in there, and basically the ticking time bombs that you guys included in there, or basically the fact that it isn't actually, stopping any of it. It's basically just codifying it and is granting blanket amnesty to all these people to basically, hey, we fixed the problem of illegal immigration. We just made it not illegal anymore. It's the same thing that we did to
Right.
lower the crime rates in California and New York. Like, hey, we did it. Like, that's again, they're basically trying to use that same logic, in this sense. And I think a lot of it is, especially with illegal immigration and stuff, because it really is an unpopular um issue on both sides now. And I think a lot of that has to do with basically, that's again the elitists. They're full on NIMBYists for one. And the fact that they're so NIMBYist, they're over there on their Martha's Vineyards and their castles on the clouds and shit like that they fucking pay $10 billion a fucking year to maintain and upkeep and all that shit. And basically they're just out of touch with what's actually happening, in the world around them. They're basically getting fed all of their their Truman Show bullshit, from their aides and from CNN and from their intelligence committees and this and that type of shit. And they're making decisions based on that. They're just full on elitist, NIMBY, fucking, I can't think of the goddamn word right now. Narcissist. Yeah.
Sociopath.
All of the above, man. Just insert fucking ad lib. Go for it, you guys. Have at it. Yep.
Right.
So speaking of migrant crime, we've had a few, as I kind of alluded to at the beginning of the show. I don't really have much details on it. It is a kind of breaking news that did just come up about an hour ago. But yes, there was a woman's head found in a park in New York. Actually, sorry, real quick before we get into that, I do just want to touch on
Let's get into.
actually we talked about Steve Baker, right? Yeah, the bona fide journalist.
Yeah, I don't think you ever said his name until right now, but yeah.
Right. But yeah, the guy's name was Steve Baker, worked at the Blaze. Again, he's an investigative journalist, a bona fide journalist, yeah.
Works at the Blaze now, but didn't on January 6th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolute fucking ridiculousness. Again, complete perversion of our justice system and our rule of law. But anyway, so a woman's head was found in a park in New York, and that's basically just going hand in hand with a handful of other murders that have been perpetrated by illegal immigrants that are here thanks to Joe Biden. The most notable of which being that of Laken Riley, right? So Laken Riley was, of course, a med student?
Yeah,
something like that. Let me see. I think I got some.
She's going to be a nurse, I believe.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, she was a med student, and of course, this illegal immigrant from Venezuela basically came over, and again, I don't know the whole circumstances leading up, but I guess there was an attempted rape. Supposedly, she put up a fight, and the dude apparently panicked and murdered her with blunt force trauma to the head. Right. So that's again, the blood here is solely on the hands of Joe Biden, right? The hands of the Biden administration, the hands of this policy. And again, you don't want to politicize, something as horrific as this, but I mean, it at this point, it's blatantly obvious. This would not have happened had the person not been here, as they are not supposed to be in the first place. Hence the reason that they are an illegal immigrant, not an asylum seeker, as these people would have you believe. This person was not here, looking for a better life. This person was here to exploit, the socialist fucking safety net utopia that is the United States, right? Again, this is solely based on bad policy. This isn't a race thing. This isn't I don't know, a college thing. This isn't a demographic thing. This is solely based on the outcomes of bad policies. All right, so yeah, absolutely fucking ridiculous shit, man. You want to go ahead and comment on the whole situation real quick, and then I'll pull up the video here, basically showing the stark contrast between the reactions of Joe Biden and Donald J. Trump on the situation.
Yeah, man, it's definitely bad policy, and it's also the destruction of sound policy. The video clip going around, it's Mayorkas being interviewed pretty early on after being put in his position, and they ask him, what policies are different, from the previous, obviously Trump's administration, and he said, well, basically, we've revised and destroyed so many policies, it'd be hard for me to even name. I mean, that's out of his words, you know what I mean? And again, it's a clip. I posted up. Yeah, it's on several of my social medias already, man. It's pretty disgusting. It's obvious, planned shit. And regardless of, the whole, it's a conspiracy, we can pull it up. We always keep receipts. 2018 New York Times is when they started letting you know. But again, this is the UN Charter, and it is, replacement population, man. It's not a theory. It's a practice.
Right. It's not a theory. It's a policy. Fucked up as that is, man. That's reality. But yeah. So yeah, like I said, Joe Biden, this is a result of bad policy. So he's been willfully ignoring the problem at the border, and you get to the point where he basically says that it's not even a problem. This is actually the way it's supposed to be. We're basically going to fast track these people in here so we can get them working, get them right.
Humanes.
Right. We're going to get them out of the cages and this and that, bullshit. And basically nobody under my watch is going to be deported. Basically everybody's going to get a trial date, a free cell phone, $5,000, and a fucking court date. Like, yeah. And so, they both the current potato in office and the former and soon to be next president of the United States went down to the border, and of course they had I guess starkly different reactions, right? Of course,
visits, man.
right. Okay, let me go ahead and pull up this quick video right here. Basically, it's a side-by-side cut of Joe Biden and Donald Trump's speeches that they gave down at the border at the same day. Where is Joe Biden? I don't remember the fuck Joe Biden is at, but Donald Trump went down to Eagle Pass. Oh, Joe Biden was in Brownsville, it seems. Yep. 1 second.
The idea there's no such thing as climate change. I love that, man. I love some of my Neanderthal friends who still think there's no climate change. Well, my administration is going to keep building on the progress we've made fighting climate crisis, and we're going to help folks rebuild themselves.
Just 1 week ago, a beautiful 22-year-old nursing student from Georgia was barbarically attacked, almost unrecognizable, while she was out on her morning run. She was doing keep herself in shape. She was a beautiful young woman. She was a great person, best nursing student there was. I spoke to her parents Yesterday, they're incredible people. They're devastated beyond belief. The monster that charging the death is an illegal alien migrant who was led into our country and released into our communities by crooked Joe Biden. He's crooked. I took the name away from Hillary.
The idea there's no such thing as climate change. I love that, man. I love some of my Neanderthal friends who still think.
Right. So, you know, obviously Donald Trump went down there to basically point out the obvious fact that, you know, this is the result of Joe Biden's bad policies. And Joe Biden went down there to basically try and guilt people into, I don't know, I guess some sort of fucking climate change bullshit. Right. Yeah, again, stark differences. I'll see if I can find the video right here in a minute too. But even the people on the Mexican side are fans of Donald Trump apparently. Yeah, absolute night and day differences. You know, honestly, if there's anybody that is not aware of the major difference that would come, or if there's anybody that's unaware of the major differences between these two people and their approaches on border policy, yeah, anybody with eyeballs could tell you that Donald Trump is basically the solution. Joe Biden is the problem, and that was basically on full display down there in Texas.
Yeah, and you know, Biden refuses to even say her name. You know what I mean? Going on to, of course, insult, you know, part of the country's fucking population. You know, at least 80 million at this point, right? Blatantly, you know, insulting people. You know, it's you know, Joe Biden-esque, right? That's what he does. Hey, fat, you know what I'm saying? And you know, it's pretty sad that that's what he would focus on rather than the situation. His administration continues to blame the issue at the border. It's because the climate changes, you know, but you know, his good old climate czar camel toes, you know, is not doing a damn thing, right? What are they going to do? I mean, it's you know, they can't you know, prevent you know, the spread of drugs in prison, but you know, they can stop the weather if you pay more taxes. And you know, like you said, we're going to help them rebuild themselves. We're supposed to be nation building, man. You know, you have to stress it every time we talk about Joe Biden. 34 trillion in debt, son.
Right. Not to mention, dude, all this talk of nation building, like we're not good at it. Like we're not good. Like, we got South Korea. Whoa, we did it, you guys. Like we built a nation. Like
the point of it though is it's economic fucking, you know, assassination. I mean, that's what it is. You disguise it as nation building, and then you make these, you know, loans so drastic that you know the country's going to default, and in turn it's, don't worry, we'll just take control of your oil wells. You know what I'm saying? You'll pay it back that way, little Bobby.
Yeah, it's you know, it's basically economic enslavement of the rest of the world. You know, it's you know, Western empiricism or imperialism or whichever, you know, whichever one, you know, is the one that means basically going around and conquering other people. But yeah, you know, I don't know. Let's go ahead and watch this video real quick, man. It's basically Joe Biden. I mean, not Joe Biden, not Joe Biden at all. It's Donald Trump and Greg Abbott down at the border. Oh, Donald Trump. There you got the video.
They like Trump. Can you believe it? They like the government.
It's the Mexican military over there cheering for fucking the orange man.
Right. I mean, because again, you know, this is the it's not necessarily. I guess I place a lot of blame on Mexico because, you know, ultimately, if you don't want immigrants coming through your country to get to America and basically bottlenecking up there at the American border, well, stop them before getting into your country. Maybe, you know, you have a lot less border to protect than we do, right? You got what you guys got that compared to up here where we got all that. You guys got that to protect. All right. protect your fucking borders. Don't let these people, start making their way to America, and then you guys won't have a problem there. But of course, you have to think at the same time. I mean, a lot of the Mexican authorities, they're probably not over there, having a cakewalk as well. I'm sure they're probably getting a lot of kickbacks from the cartels and the other people that basically have them on the payroll and stuff like that. But ultimately, they don't want to have to be facilitating all of the same type of shit that basically our border patrol is being forced to facilitate. They would rather, more than likely, I'm assuming again, probably just like to stop the problem. I'm pretty sure that they, signed up to basically go over there and protect the border, not to, make sandwiches and be fucking pencil pushers. I'm pretty sure that they'd probably want to do the same thing too. It's just bad policy all the way around. And again, I'm sure in Mexico, it's a whole lot of, corruption, greased palms and all that type of shit.
Yeah, and they're definitely not having a good time over there. Just before the show started, I watched a video on the exosphere that looked like military. It was matching military garb, armored vehicles with swivel turrets on top. I mean, some pretty insane armaments. And then it came up. This is not the Mexican military. This is the cartel. You know what I'm saying? Like just straps, man.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you watch the local news at all, but dude, all the time, dude, here in Arizona, fucking people in a military fatigues getting busted in groups, crossing through the deserts in the middle of the night. Yeah, like I say, I've reported on it a few times on the show, but it's not necessarily an isolated incident. This happens all the fucking time. I actually just saw another group on the news that got busted just yesterday. Like this is a regular occurrence of these, paramilitary looking asylum seekers basically coming over in the dead of night. And again, if you don't, there has to be a reason that you don't want to get caught, right? There has to be a reason, because it's not like you have a fear of being turned away. You don't give a fuck if you're on the terrorist watch list. Joe Biden will still let your ass through, and they'll still give you fucking $5,000 and fly you wherever the fuck you want to go. But why is it that these large groups of people, again, in full fatigues, with all matching gear, again looking like paramilitary groups, why are they all coming in the dead of night, hoping to not get busted? And again, they're coming over at a frequent rate. Just because we happen to bust them every now and then doesn't mean that we happen to bust all of them. So that's yeah, it's obvious why, but I mean, it's the type of stuff that you just gotta, point out to people, and just like, just raising any eyebrows with anybody, anybody asking questions about this type of stuff. It's pretty blatant, right in your face. I guess we really are living in 1984, but again, I don't even think it has to be propaganda. I just think people are fucking too stupid to actually, like, people just look at it and like, oh yeah, humanitarianism, bro, great. I honestly just
stances with Ukraine.
Right. I don't even think people are fucking mentally aware enough to even fucking to focus on 2 fucking minutes of hate.
All right, it's TikTok, 30 seconds of hate.
You're right. The maximum of 30 seconds.
28.9 seconds, sir.
Right. Yeah, absolute fucking ridiculousness, man. But, all things considered, man, there is some silver linings, right? Trump's fucking wrecking in the polls. He's basically, taking all of the swing states in the polls right now. He's completely demolishing Joe Biden in the polls right now. And again, I'm still sticking to my prediction, as is, most people. They're also predicting that Joe Biden is not going to be the person that the Democrats run. But either way, Donald Trump is killing it right now, and especially with all of this stuff happening with the illegal immigrants, with the wide open border. Donald Trump is building up a lot of support, and so like we just saw in the video, even the people over there in Mexico know who the fuck Donald Trump is, and they basically know if Donald Trump gets elected, he is going to fix shit. That's basically what Donald Trump does. He goes in there and he gets shit done, down to basically sitting Kim Jong-un down and telling him, hey, calm your shit, motherfucker. I got a bigger fucking button than you. I'll fucking blow your ass up. You know, go
Rocket
sit
Man.
your ass down. You know, Donald Trump is gonna get shit done. You know, like down to the point of, all right, go ahead and everybody start rounding them all up. Round them all up, round them all up. We're going to send them all back, sending them all back to Mexico, send them all back. I've been working with the president of Mexico, and we've decided that we together are going to be sending these people back to the country of origin, and Mexico is going to be fitting the bill. It's basically what it's going to be, right? And, you know, again, we're seeing populist uprisings all over the world, too. This isn't just a MAGA movement. You know, it is a movement, but it doesn't stop at MAGA. This is a type of sentiment that is being basically cast all throughout the world right now. A lot of people are basically starting to wake up and smell the corruption that, you know, is brewing within their own you know, governments. And yeah, you really like to see it, but then again, at the same time, these are those moments that really kind of hinge on I don't know, I guess a few events. You know, again, if you examine history, you're going to find out, you know, depending on how close you examine it, we're not always the good guys. In fact, we're rarely the good guys, you know? And so you like to see these types of uprisings, but at the same time, you know that there's a good chance that you're going to be written down in the history books as being a terrorist extremist that tried to overthrow the country and insurrect and, you know, all this and that type shit, because it's propaganda. Propaganda written by the victors. So let's just,
man, I never see the Rumble the Rumble comments, and you know, someone saying, "Hey," but
right.
yeah, man, it's you know, you're lucky to be able to research history, because obviously victors write the history, right? And like you're saying, you know, there's one version, and there's word of mouth that gets tossed around, but eventually that just becomes an echo, or you know, it's all about like you said, conspiracy theorists, which was just put out there. That term was invented for people that were questioning the explanation of the JFK assassination, for anyone that was ever wondering, man. So you know, that's just another, you know, psyop. You know, the good old FBI's is, man, Operation Mockingbird. But yeah, it's rough out here, man. You know, you don't even know what to do at this point, because while Trump's killing it, they're trying to kill him. Whether it's you know, sending white powder to his kids and with death threats, or you know, destroying the old Trump school's empire. And I still think it will be Joe Biden's. I think it will be.
Yeah. I mean, again, I hope it will be, you know, because that fuck, I could probably win a fucking election against that guy at this point, you know. But one thing that I have been kind of you know, kind of mulling over in my head is you know, how long, I guess, would a populist resurgence last? You know, especially with the fact that, you know, a good majority of the people may be on the side of, you know, this sort of movement and stuff like that, but at the same time, we don't have the media at all. And what we do notice is that throughout presidencies, you know, it's basically what's going on with Trump and his surging you know, support right now, at least among the you know, the layman voter, you know, the basically, you know, the person that just flips on the news here and there or reads a headline every now and then, is basically it's nostalgia. It's nostalgia for, like I said, you know, I thought about it, you know, before in the past, and basically all that you have to tell people is that when we had Trump, things were good. Now that we have Joe Biden for the last fucking 3 years, things have been terrible the entire time. And that's really about as simple as it goes. So what I wonder is basically during Trump's presidency, when things inevitably don't instantaneously change overnight and fucking prices don't start, you know, receding, you know, as opposed to, you know, inflating, when people see that stuff doesn't happen on an instant, people are going to start turning away against it. And of course, as soon as they start turning away against the MAGA movement, because again, they're not seeing instant gratification and results that they would like to have, the mainstream media, if they have not been corrected, or if they have not been basically weeded out, you know, if the swamp has not been drained within the mainstream media, you know, Democrats pounce. You know, they're gonna fucking pounce on basically, oh, see, it's another Trump failed presidency. You guys thought that it was just because the Democrats, and, you know, like, nope, it's just, you know. And you know, at that point, you know, personally, I think it's, again, it's just government. It's not fucking Democrat or Republican. It's just government in general. But that's one thing that I wonder about is how long would a MAGA populist movement last in America if we don't have, you know, the culture and the mainstream, I guess.
Right, man. But like you keep saying, I mean, you know, the inner zones and podcasts and whatnot are the future for information, news, stuff like that. And we kind of do, you know, have the market on that, you know, for the most part. There's some large leftist, you know, channels with, you know, massive sub counts, of course, but the shit they spout is just absolute lunacy. And, you
Right.
know, it's easily just, you know, from anecdotal experience in life, you're like, dude, you're a fucking moron. You know what I'm saying? And that's all that kind of takes. But the ones that do the real numbers, I mean, we know. I mean, Joe Rogan calls himself a liberal to an extent, right? But he's teetering. He's teetering on that leftist libertarian side, man. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, you know, Dan Bongino, Steven Crowder. I mean, the list just keeps going. And even, you know, conservative Inc. to an extent, right? You know, I like Matt Walsh. You know what I'm saying? You know, and those are the guys, those are the people that do the real numbers, man. So I think that if it keeps heading that way, if we don't let the whole kill the internet shit take place, which you know, that's going to take a for real outpouring and real, you know, physical push. You know, I think we'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you said, it's all about the ability to spread and share information, man. But once that's rolled back to the Stone Age, that's when you got to worry as far as that's concerned. Because I
Right.
believe even with you know, a lot of like groceries, for instance, right? Like pork, it's traded on futures, man. It's a commodity, right? So I mean, you see like the stock market, like when Trump, before he took office, before immediately stocks started going up and whatnot because, you know, they're trading on future aspects, and they knew that someone that's all he's done his life is fucking make money is going to come in here and make some motherfucking money. You know what I mean? I mean, the
Buy
dude
pork,
sold
fellas.
China rice.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
Amrib said most people have the attention span of a goldfish. I completely agree. It
Yeah.
fucking absolutely.
Yep. That's why they call it the news cycle. Actually, I talked about this last week, actually, and that's basically how they are able to push through these, you know, big things like you know, the Joe Biden corruption and stuff like that. Is basically they'll report about the allegation coming from the Republicans, and then they'll basically call it just that, an allegation, you know, a baseless allegation with no evidence whatsoever. And then as evidence comes out, they'll slowly drip it out once their main core audience has basically already accepted within their head that, oh, this is baseless and this is just, you know, MAGA Republicans trying to attack Democrats. That's the way that they're able to still report the news, you know, even when negative stuff comes out that basically completely disproves everything that they just said, you know, about a month or so ago, you know. And yeah, I don't know. I like to hope that you know, we're gonna end up winning out. I do think that we're winning the culture, you know. I really do think that, especially with you know, like you say, you know, the podcast world basically taking over. And again, you know, another one of my predictions from for 2024 is you know, offensive humor is going to come back in a big way. And I think basically we're seeing that. It's not fully in effect yet, but again, the year is still young, and I do believe that we're going to have a lot of you know, big summer specials from, you know, the likes of you know, Ricky Gervais and, you know, Dave Chappelle, and basically a lot of people are going to try and follow that same style or that same you know, subject matter of basically offending the woke mob, because of the fact that that is what sells. That's what people watch. That's what people want to see, you know. And you know, obviously, yeah, these media companies, these you know, movie makers and stuff like that, they're not in the business to continue making flops forever, you know. That's completely unsustainable, and unless they fully just let their companies completely tank and go under, which, you know, we're seeing happen to, you know, the likes of Disney, Bud Light, those types of people. I think that they're going to be forced to have a sort of a offensive or basically anti-woke rebranding in order to basically stay relevant within the new, I guess, zeitgeist going forward.
Yeah, man, voting with your dollar absolutely was proven true there. People like to scoff at you when you say you try to stand on principle and like, I won't purchase this or what have you because of, they support, this or that. And, you see it actually works. It's just got to be used on a larger scale. That was the first time the right ever really, struck back and, did some serious damage. And as far as them being able to sustain, that's where you get your Larry Finks and whatnot, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, of course your Soroses and all these fools that like to come in and just drop money and save the day, man. Things that kept Vox afloat for as long as it was. We just said goodbye to that, right? You know, it's and then what was it, Vice beforehand? I mean, it's you can keep going. I mean, all these things, would fail if given the opportunity, but unfortunately there's too many decrepit reptiles with fucking Superman capes.
Yeah.
And then you see, now they're, well, they're dying off, but you see the actions of their kids. Apparently, they're even worse. You've seen Alex Soros just met with Joe Biden like 3 days before his dad, dropped a bunch of money into the campaign. Man, what a quinky dink. But yeah, it's a matter of bucking the elites, and hence the reason for podcast and whatnot. But it's also hence the reason you got the WEF out here, like the greatest threat to democracy is dis and misinformations.
All right.
You
The
know?
greatest threat to democracy is you, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You pieces of shit. Goddamn lizards.
And
Yep.
there's no pure system, dude. There's no pure democracy. There's no pure socialist country. There's no, what I mean? Everything at this point is a hybrid. And most people don't even know what the fuck democracy really is.
It's either a hybrid or it's a fucking illusion.
Yeah.
Yep. So speaking of wokeness, dying out within our society, we had a woke Antifa Air Force, they, them, zim, zer, whatever the fuck you want to call them, basically go ahead and set themselves ablaze in front of course, the Israeli embassy here in the United States, right? Absolutely. If you guys didn't see the video or not, I mean, I'm sure you could probably still find it. I'm pretty sure it's still on X somewhere. Of course, I'm not going to show it just because I don't want to, I want to get banned. But yeah. So basically, this Air Force person went up all jackass style, live streaming and basically like, all right, so my name's what was his name? Aaron Bushnell, and I'm fucking fed up with the way that I won't kill for the United States military, blah 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 blah, bullshit, whatever, and then he fucking goes ahead, pours fucking gasoline on himself out of his canteen, lights his fucking boots on fire, and then starts screaming, "Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!" And then, of course, the part that the lefties are having a conniption fit about is when the police officers basically showed up to put this dipshit out. One of them was standing there with a fire extinguisher. The other one was standing there with the gun pointed at him. Right. So
that's the best part, dude. The best fucking part.
Right. The dude sit there fucking burning to death.
That's a good comment there, dude. Amreb on Rumble says the populist movement will last 1 or 2 generations, and that's how long it takes to get lazy and stop fucking paying attention. You apathetic fat fucks. Have some more McDonald's. Exactly.
Right. Yeah. The fucking process of decadence, and it really is. It's as the saying goes. Good times create weak men create hard times create strong men create good times, and so on and so forth. It's basically the cycle. It's the pendulum of society, and I think we just got to the point where the pendulum basically swung itself out, and I think I think again, you hate to see it, you hate to say it, but I think that we're basically on the verge of a revolutionary period. I like to think it's revolutionary period. I don't honestly think that we're going to have a civil war, because in that case, again, the fucking Antifa, tards aren't going to fucking actually get out there and, line up and fucking fight with, the MAGA patriots. That's for damn sure. And for two, it basically just be the orders of the government, basically ordering their own military to go fight their own families and stuff like that. And again, if we do that with illegal immigrants, it's possible. But at the same time, I think like the United States population could more than likely outpower, or at least outnumber by a large amount, the illegal immigrant army that they'd be bringing in to basically defend their rule. So I think if there was any shit to be hitting any sort of fans, I think it's going to be a revolutionary type shit rather than a civil war type shit.
Good comment here. Amrev says, I've been doing our show for 10 years and will not quit. If we quit talking about the problems, they'll just continue. And that's, the same as, we talk about history, if you let it fade, basically it repeats itself. And, here we are, man. So you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. 10 years, long fucking time, man. Yeah.
So we're actually coming up on our second year of doing this show. We just started doing it podcast style. We started out doing just little reports on individual events and topics and stuff like that. And just over time we've morphed it into a bit more of a podcast style. Definitely some cool stuff, man. If you'd ever like to have a conversation with us on a live stream or something like that, definitely hit us up. We have all of our links to our social medias and stuff in the description below. Always like to connect with other people that are just within the political sphere, and just other people that are actually that actually give a shit about what's going on around in the world around them.
Plus you're on Crumble, man. It's
right.
And I don't know about most people's experience, but I know mine, it seemed like people that don't have a ready-made audience that you're taking with you, from the juice tubes or whatnot. Like Rumble's hard to even fucking get rolled on, man.
Right. I do feel like Rumble is a bit more partial toward live streams as opposed to standalone videos. I don't know. It again too. We just started using the Rumble Studio recently, and I get definitely a lot less views through using Rumble Studio than we did when we were using a Restream to stream to Rumble. It's and I don't know. It's again, I still support Rumble. Just because they're not YouTube, and I still like to see some more conservative companies coming up within the media. But they definitely got their issues. They definitely got their kinks that are definitely going to have to be worked out, and I'm sure they will get worked out over time, especially as its popularity increases and its user base grows. They'll definitely work out the kinks, hopefully, if they don't get shut down.
It works real good, and it's self-funded, completely free speech, and it's too small to be affected by the EU draconian bullshit. Of course, this whole BitChute, man.
Yep. This these videos get uploaded to BitChute. Again, I don't think I've tried live streaming there yet. Didn't you say they just started doing a live stream thing?
I seen they were rolling it out. I don't know if it's if it's live yet or not, but
yep, definitely. Get over to BitChute, get over to all these alt tech. If you guys are watching on Rumble, get on over to Rumble or to BitChute or somewhere. Again, links are all in the description below. Follow us on social media as well. If you guys want to talk to us, share some memes with us. This guy over here is dropping memes and news clips and all kinds of fun stuff all day long, all over the social medias. So definitely get on over, check us out, man. But anywho, let's see, What do you want to talk about first? You want to talk about SCOTUS or you want to talk about spending?
Either or is fucking terrible.
As you know, what do you guys want? The good news or the bad news first?
And the good news could actually set off serious bad news.
Right. Yeah. I guess we'll start with the bad news first because we can keep that one I guess semi brief. We've talked about this topic multiple times. It's a pretty common subject that we talk about here. And of course that has to do with fiscal conservatism within the Congress, right? So as you guys I'm sure are well aware, there's the whole fiasco with Kevin McCarthy, where basically Kevin McCarthy, when it came to him being elected as Speaker of the House, there was some stipulations. Basically, there were some holdouts from the Freedom Caucus, which is basically Matt Gaetz, Chip Roy, MTG, those people. There's basically some holdouts that were basically holding up the vote in order to get Kevin McCarthy in there. And one of the stipulations was basically you needed to start doing single subject spending bills as opposed to these, overruling ridiculous omnibus spendings. And then another thing too was that a single congressman can initiate a vote of removal, basically to get the person removed, right? So of course, yeah, sure, give me the job, whatever, we'll get it done. And then of course he instantly starts working with the Democrats. Matt Gaetz basically goes and moves to remove Kevin McCarthy. Of course, the motion passes. Kevin McCarthy gets removed, and we install who can't even remember the dude's name now. Mike Johnson,
man.
Mike Jones. Right. So we install Mike Johnson in hopes that he would get the ball rolling. So Kevin McCarthy, of course, being a Republican from California, you're not an actual Republican. You're a commie from California, right? So you would hope that basically, it wouldn't take much to make a difference. Of course, you're not going to get the establishment Republicans to vote in a MAGA Speaker of the House. So they settled for, I guess, somewhere in between. They settled for lukewarm. They basically settled for a good old Christian conservative, right? Good old Bible thumper by the name of Mike Johnson. Now, Mike Johnson has not done any fucking thing different at all. Not a goddamn fucking thing different. When it comes to spending, all the same spending, basically. So the point they're trying to make is, we're not doing omnibus spending anymore. Now we're doing stopgap spending. It's the same fucking thing, just for a shorter fucking length of time, dude. It's nothing. It's literally kicking down the can. It's kicking the can down the road, just in shorter intervals now. Like there's no fucking difference to it whatsoever, other than the allotted time frame that you guys plan on spending. But yeah, I don't know, man. I like to think of it as basically they are junkies with addiction to printing and spending money any way that they see fit, and it's an actual drug style addiction to where they actually have withdrawals, as we could see every time they get within days of a possible government shutdown. The fucking news media go burr and fucking everything's the sky is falling and this and that. It's an actual addiction. They can't stop spending money that doesn't exist. They can't stop spending money that we don't have, and just printing it out of thin air and just sending it off to all of their fucking friends that donate to their campaigns and all this and that. Again, we live in an oligarchy here. We don't live in a republic anymore. The representatives are not bound to their constituents; they're bound to their donors. And we're again we kind of hoped that things would be different with Mike Johnson, but alas, it's the same. Now the problem here that comes into play is the optics. If we are to remove Mike Johnson again, it's not going to look good. The entire basically holding up the getting Kevin McCarthy elected in the first place. That was, everyone was kind of like, they're playing politics, this and that type of thing, bullshit. And then removing him again, they're like, now they're playing real partisan politics type bullshit. And then getting Mike Johnson elected, that was again, rabble, right? So the optics from removing the person that we basically replaced the person that we removed, that's not going to look good, especially during election season. The economy's looking bad, the border's looking bad, and of course the Democrats. Like I said, it's election season, so it's basically don't get anything done and blame your opponent for everything, and that's exactly what the Democrats are doing. The Democrats pounce, as a fucking mainstream communist fucking propagandist disseminator would say.
Yeah, Mike Johnson's only win at this point basically is telling the Senate and Joe Biden's, fuck you, we're not going to bring your bullshit fucking Ukraine's bill to the floor. But at the same time, I'm sure he's all about sending money to Ukraine too. He just has to do, the whole MAGA thing and, well, we have to close the border. But, he's been a squish for sure, man. And, not that you would expect much by looking at the guy, but he talked a good game, and his voting record was decent as far as when it was the Trump administration, right? I think war is the addiction because that enriches them. I think spending at this point is built in. I think that they've expanded the government to the point of no return as far as that's concerned, and it's just this Leviathan glutton that like Rand Paul stood up in the filibuster and said literally every single dime we spend at this point is borrowed. That that our record-breaking amounts of tax revenue is just covering entitlements and the shit that is automatic as far as the Constitution is concerned.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Again, it really does kind of give you anxiety when you think about the future of the American economy. Just because it's again, I like to think that we could turn it around. That we could get back to domestic production, basically deregulate a lot of industries, get back to drill baby drill. Make us energy independent again. But again, I like to, I don't like to, but I can't help but think about how far damaged the United States dollar is. But as we're seeing, in a place like Argentina, they're running a surplus now. They went from running a deficit to running a surplus. So I mean, it is possible.
And
it is
and
possible.
they attach themselves to the American dollar, so that's
Right.
where like it's our government's the fucking problem.
Yeah. Yep. And so again, we talked about it, before, and I don't like to be all fucking, Trump is fucking everything, Trump's Jesus, Trump's gonna save everything. But honestly, Trump is the only chance that we have of basically saving any semblance of the America that we once knew. The only chance that we have. And there's a number of reasons, down to the like I said, the economic reasons, basically just who he is as a person, as opposed to the politicians that have been career politicians, because of the fact that they can't make it as anything else. And there's also just the fact that who else other than Trump has the means, the gusto, and basically the support to stand up to the entire weight of the federal government trying to push themselves down on him. I don't think there's anybody in America that has all of what it takes to basically ever attempt a movement like this ever again, if Trump does not succeed in what he's doing here. And not to mention the fact that if Trump doesn't succeed, any sort of movement like this is going to be fucking outlawed. Speech is going to be fucking outlawed. They're going to fucking basically, they're already trying to take away your rights to basically assemble as a militia. To basically, they're trying to take away your rights to even go out and have some fucking Sunday plinking with your buddies. Basically, they're trying to destroy everything that was America in order to maintain their power.
It's a perfectly good use for fire over there on Rumble, man. Amreb, we'll have to check him out.
Yeah. We'll definitely check out your channel after the show, man. But definitely some crazy times that we live here in America. It's some crazy times that we're going through.
Yeah, it's beyond, man. Like you said, it's controlled demolition. You're watching the destruction of, the country your forefathers fucking, bled and died for. And the people like to still try to celebrate, like, it's the 4th of July. Is like, you don't even know what that means. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
it's pretty sad, especially, I fear for the future of my kids, of course, like I'm sure most thinking adults do. And to see them come up in the country that old, Yuri Bezmenov predicted is pretty fucking sad, man. And even if you were to, if we pull this off, Trump's in office, everything's good. It's 4 years, man. And like you said, it's kind of hard to see the figure in the future that could step into that role immediately and garner the same type of support, man. You know,
Right. Right.
and Gavin Newsom's waiting in the wings, dude. And there's a lot of people that fall for that shit-eating lizard grin, and you
Newsom.
hate, I'm misogyny, right? But women's right to vote is also a drastic killer of countries, man.
Right.
Statistically, if just women voted, dude, that's Democrats would win every damn
Oh yeah.
election, man. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's because they're emotional thinkers, and that's basically what Democrats are. That's the reason that they play on emotions, and that's why they, they do work off of shame. We often like to say that, like, oh, it's because they have no sense of shame. It's basically because their sense of shame is basically manipulated. That's the way that they're brainwashed. They're shamed into such asinine ideas like white guilt and shit like that. That's the type of shame that they operate off of. They operate off of the shame of thinking like, oh, fucking, I'm just so privileged to be able to live in a house and sleep under a roof with air conditioning. Meanwhile, there's people out there that have to sleep under a bridge and stuff like that, and it's just because they're less fortunate. Like, no, they have to sleep under a bridge because they fucking burned every single bridge that they've ever had in their entire life, and they can't stop fucking drinking and pissing themselves on a daily basis. Like, that's why they have to sleep under a bridge. It's not because they're less fucking fortunate. It's but ultimately, that's the leftist logic. It's the Democrat logic. It's basically it's emotional logic. Everything with them is based off of feelings and emotions and stuff like that. And it's they completely ignore logic, and that's why they're easily manipulated. And that's why basically leftism and communism has been pushed ever since World War II. They cannot have any sort of strong sense of nation or any sort of a strong sense of individuality to basically overthrow their plans for a globalized, homogenous fucking blob of humanity that is under their unilateral fucking rule.
Androgyny's the weapon.
Right.
Amrep said, I believe in putting your face to your words.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, not necessarily in the Jordan Peterson sense. Yeah, definitely put your face to words. I don't think you should definitely have to put your name, address, and all that type of stuff. Geez, StreamYard. I haven't. Yeah, we haven't tried using StreamYard yet. I've tried like I said, I've tried Restream. We used Restream for a little while, and then now since this Rumble Studio just came out a couple weeks ago, we've been trying this for a little while.
Yeah, thus far, I mean, Restream was pretty smooth, man. You know what I mean? You set it up once and bam, bam.
Yep.
Damn, he said he's had over 5,000 videos taken down by YouTube. That's shit, man. I've had nothing like that, but quite a few too. Obviously nowhere near 10 years. That's that's senior, dude. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's fucking harsh, man. 5,000 vids.
That's fucking ridiculous. Did your channel get banned like altogether? I mean, I doubt you got 5,000 strikes. I'd imagine they probably just struck your whole channel down, right?
He said, "Try Wimkin. They have lives, man." And
Yeah.
you see, yeah, 5,000 vids taken down. Yeah, you'd think that was like this fucking whole channel, man. Like a Stefan Molyneux situation. Now you're on, the old wiki as a white supremacy. You're using science to further white supremacists.
Right. I mean, that really is another good, another good reason for why you should upload to multiple platforms. Why you should to stream to multiple platforms, basically to archive your stuff. You never know when YouTube's going to strike you down. So, but once that happens, all your stuff's gone unless you have it saved in a file somewhere or on a jump drive or something like that. All those videos are basically gone unless they're on somewhere like BitChute or Rumble or one of these other places. So that's another good reason to basically have different sort of places where you can archive all of your videos and stuff like that. These people are fucking commie psychopaths, man. Fucking commie homos are taking over. You want complete control.
Yeah. Yeah, it still bothers the fuck out of me that he said, is the good news actually good? It's kind of
Right.
depends on how you look at it, man.
Right.
Let's hit it, dude.
Yeah, shit. Speaking of the good news, man. So SCOTUS has decided to basically take up the Trump presidential immunity case. It's basically the presidential immunity case, right? So this is the case that would basically decide whether or not presidents are immune for actions taken, for official actions taken during their time as president. Of course, this is being brought up because of the fact that they're trying to charge Donald Trump with insurrection, right? Basically trying to say that he attempted to overthrow the Capitol and trying to what was it? Fucking like intimidate or whatever, different state electors in order to basically overturn the results. And so, of course, now that the Supreme Court is having to decide on whether or not they actually have presidential immunity or not. So again, this is another one of those double-edged swords that we've been seeing popping up in this election season. And it's basically, so on one side you have, okay, well, if they decide that no, presidents are not immune for the actions that they take during their time as president, then basically it's open season on all past presidents. Every single fucking past president that in my lifetime, and I'm pretty sure in your lifetime, is guilty of something, some sort of fucking something that could be viewed as a extremely corrupt or a war crime, something like that. Basically, every single president's been guilty of war crimes. So that would make it open season for that, right? On the other hand, if they decide that basically, he's immune for actions taken during presidency, well, then everything's fucking done. You guys fucking stop all your cases, go fuck off. Trump's on the ballot. Basically, the entire last 4 years of the DOJ trying to basically pin Donald Trump for insurrection and attempting to overthrow the government. Even the what is it? I think the campaign funds mishandling and shit like that. Even those cases be basically thrown out, right? So again, this is kind of an all or nothing thing right now. This case is kind of a big deal. The fact that they decided to basically what is it? Put it off for a little bit. They're not going to start hearing oral arguments until late April, I believe it was. Yeah, and that's basically got these lefties melting down. Right. It's crunch time, and as we're seeing with the what SCOTUS was their opinions on the Colorado attempting to remove Donald Trump off of the ballot there during the primaries. It doesn't look like the Supreme Court sides with any of these radical leftist judges in the slightest. So I mean, it's seeming like good news for old Donald Trump. It's seeming like victory, and the reaction that we're seeing coming from the left, especially during the mainstream media, with Rachel Maddow and all these people talking about white rule voter hate and all this and that type stuff, warning you about how white hate is coming to America, coming to an America near you. It really just lets you know they are smelling the smell of defeat, my friend. They're starting to read the tea leaves, and they're starting to see that they lost. they lost, plain and simple, and yeah, it's you love to see it, but at the same time, this is also a very dangerous time because, as we know, the United States government, especially these three-letter intelligence agencies, are not above assassinating their own presidents and their own elected leaders. So there's that. But
I don't
what's
know
your take on the whole
exactly
thing?
what those comments mean, but I think that it's going to cause problems either way, man. Okay, so if it goes Trump's way, obviously the left's going to melt down. They're going to be trying to burn the joint and fucking attack justices, and we need to stack the courts and destroy the political structure, so on and so forth. And then if he loses, obviously, then like you said, it's open season on presidents. But I think you're going to see a push from a different crowd this time. You know what I mean? And I don't know exactly who he's talking
I,
about, Jack Smith, or I
I
don't know
think
who he's
he
talking about in the
I think he
comments.
might be. I think he might be watching like a little whiles back. I think he's might be talking about the spending of fucking
All
what's
right,
his name?
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. But but like you said, you watch the oral arguments from the Colorado case. They don't seem to be feeling that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's looking good, but of course it's going to set off a whole avalanche of shit. And you're going to have states trying. They're already coming out with their next rollout, which is we're not going to certify the shit, right? If he wins. And then the whole the white rage shit, obvious suggestive programming. So when shit pops off, they can say it's the white MAGA supporters. Is you know what I mean?
right.
But I don't think it'll make the case go away as far as what's his name, old Tubbs up there in New York with the like you said the
Alvin Bragg with
election funds fucking
the hush
mishandling.
money one.
As far as the Stormy Daniels, I don't think they would make that one go away, but I believe that that guy's trying to make that a federal felony, which he doesn't even have jurisdiction over. But as a federal crime, that's something I believe that Trump could probably pardon himself on.
Right. It's
You
time to
know,
go fuck
I don't know
himself.
if he do that because again, that would set off a whole shit storm. He's a dictator, and Orange Man's badges, of course.
Right.
But overall, like I said, I think that it's going to go our way, you know, temporarily.
I think I think I have like a bit of a new theory on Nikki Haley. I mean, there's all kinds of theories on why the fuck she's putting herself through such humiliation, even though she knows that she's not going to win. She even acknowledges that she's not going to win, but she just so I'm still staying. I ain't going nowhere, you guys. But I think that her purpose is basically they're paying her money to basically continue to, I guess, rally the never Trumper base, to basically keep the never Trumper base alive as long as they possibly can, so that way they cannot, the Republicans cannot necessarily unify around one candidate to basically move them to move that candidate forward, especially because like I said, if Joe Biden's not the candidate, they don't have anybody that they've been promoting, necessarily this whole time. It'd basically be switching out the person in the last fucking inning, and
It
so yeah,
wouldn't just be him either. They'd have to switch out fucking Camel Toes as well because she's even more
yeah,
unpopular than fucking the Carcass Biddens, dude.
yeah, yeah. And then at the same time, Camel Toes and Gavin, if they put Gavin in, they're from the same state, so. But
Gavin's ready to serve though, dude. So is
right,
Camel Toes's.
right, he's coming to fucking sprinkle fucking California rainbows on a town near you.
Right. The AIs are the AI, the climate, and the borders are, bro. Like she's
Right,
putting in serious work, running around just steady cackling.
right. Put it work. Oh, fucking cackles, man! I cannot stand that woman.
Yep, but definitely look for the Democrats to talk about stacking the court, man, if it fucking goes favorably for Trump, right? They've been pushing that theory now for a few years And that rhetoric's going to absolutely be just outer zoned in fucking the volume, man. And it's looking like a old pencil neck Schiff, without any clown world shit happening, is falling behind in the polls for the Senate seat there to take Dianne Feinstein's seat in California, which would be excellent. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? To see that guy fucking fail. But he's been the main proponent out here, just steady pushing that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stacking the courts, bro. And it's, we have to do it to save democracy. We have to override democracy to
Right.
like save democracy.
Yeah. Save our democracy.
Yeah. And you realize all Trump did with the Supreme Court, how, they're saying these judges should recuse themselves and what have you. All he did was basically return balance. I mean,
Right.
he put, basically, I mean, you see Coney Barrett, she's kind of sided more like with the liberals, through a lot of things thus far. And, what's his name? The old drunken man, Brett Kavanaugh, has, been kind of a moderate. And Gorsuch is basically, he took the seat of Scalia, and he's been the only true, constitutionalist conservative as far as I'm concerned, man. I mean, there's always Clarence, but he was already there. I'm speaking on the ones that, Trump put in, of course. And, Clarence Thomas, they have it out for that guy. Joe Biden always has. You can see those clips on my channel too, back in the 80s, trying to fucking destroy that guy.
Right. I think, fucking Dr. C was actually talking about earlier today is basically what the Democrats were riding on is they're basically riding on being able to, buy a couple radical fucking leftist judges rather than, being able to win over a couple of radical leftist judges rather than having to worry about winning over the actual voters in terms of winning this election. Right. So basically what happened was they didn't count on the Supreme Court. Right. They didn't count on all that. So basically the whole reason that Obama would have left those seats open is because Trump wasn't supposed to win. Those are supposed to be fucking Hillary Clinton's picks,
He tried to put Merrick Garland on the
Oh
Supreme
yeah.
Court, and that's the one crowning achievement for Cocaine Mitch was he
Right.
blocked that as the fucking Senate Majority Leader.
Right. But yeah, I think basically that was their plan was just to do lawfare as opposed to actual good policy or as opposed to actually having a fucking quality candidate even. I think they put all of their eggs in the basket of lawfare and basically the fact that they have control of the media. They didn't think people were actually going to notice. They didn't think that people were going to pay attention. They thought they were just going to be able to control things. And again, it's because the information superhighway, and basically the fact that Elon Musk, again, he's not perfect. The X app isn't all that in a bag of chips. People still get banned. People still get their posts removed and shit like that. But at the same time, it's a hell of a lot better than I guess what Twitter used to be, in terms of basically being a place for public discourse and the public square basically of social media. And so I think that that's something that they didn't count on. And again, they have control of the media. They had control of some several judges. They just Trump won off of a couple Trump cards. Basically, Trump won off of the fact that we're at, I think Trump basically is winning off of being the anti-hero right now, and again off of the Democrats' bad economic policy. Basically, they turned Trump into a martyr, and that's all has to do with the fact that these types of information, these types of shows, this type of stuff is basically able to get out to the public. And that's why I think they coming for us next, motherfuckers. It's still election season. They ain't giving up the fight. They ain't gonna fucking surrender. Fuck no. Like I said, they're gonna get wacky as fuck. This is where they're gonna get their most dastardly. This is where everything that's been going on, the last couple of years has all been shit that people have been saying, oh, that'll never happen in America. That'll never happen in America. All the type of shit that you think will never happen in America probably going to happen within this next couple of fucking months. Like,
I guarantee you there's already a whole list of shit that has happened in the past fucking 8 years that, plenty of people, generations of people said would never happen in this country, man.
all right. Yeah.
And you see the answers to some of these questions now with AMREB, right? It says, feels like a dinosaur. 3 different accounts got taken down on the Jesus tubes. And the joke, the Mike Johnson joke, now that I have perspective, is pretty damn good, dude. Looks like the
Right.
dorky chick from Scooby-Doo.
Oh, Velma's.
Yeah, pretty funny shit.
It depends, though. I mean, the Scooby Doo with Matthew Lillard, that one, and Velma's pretty hot in that one, I gotta say. Fucking Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar. I had sisters, so I watched those ones a lot growing up, But what are we talking about again?
Right. Right, man.
Yeah. Damn good show. Oh, real quick. I'll talk about fucking Whoopi. Did you hear old Whoopi's comments, man? About basically the Trump immunity thing, or basically the presidential
that
immunity
if he's
hearing?
immune, then Joe Biden could arrest all the Republicans. You just
Right.
throw them all in jails, dude. Right? I mean, she's
Right.
obvious fucking communist, piece of shite, dude. And
Yep.
your name's not even Whoopi. And what a coincidence that she pushes communism and she took the name Goldberg.
Right.
That's
Hmm.
wow.
Interesting. All right. So the thing about that is, right, that doesn't necessarily mean that presidents could literally do anything that they want. All right. They can't go all fucking King Joffrey, just out of nowhere and shit, So basically, there is still a way to basically arrest presidents. They need to be found guilty, or basically, in order for them.
High crimes and misdemeanors, baby. Yours is inner zones is deads.